Welcome to Living Local with Lori.
Welcome to Living Local with Lori. Hi, I'm Lori Johanneson. I'm a top performing realtor in the Chicagoland suburbs. My goal is to connect my clients, friends, and family with advice and tips from other local area experts. Today I have Bethany. Bethany, want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I'm Bethany Hammer, and I work at Good Shepherd Church in Naperville. I used to be a teacher. I taught fifth grade in 204. I can say right now, in the midst of COVID, I'm very thankful I'm not teaching, and I give lots of credit for all those teachers that are. But I've been in my position, Director of Family Life Children's Ministries, for over 12 years. And it's great because it's my two passions, children and God. And so I get to combine those together, and it's just been such a blessing.
That's awesome. Well, that's exciting. Well, I didn't realize that you had also the teaching background in combination with this. So
yeah,
you can cover all age groups, hopefully, and providing us and with our kids at home some really fun activities that they can be doing just to help keep their spirits up, which I think we all need. Young, old, we just are looking for something that can help get us going. So
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot right now for all of us. I think family is what you typically sees your worst self. And in the midst of this, it's really a challenge to continually just be on as a parent and trying to either work at home as well or whatnot. So I have three kids. I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old. And one fun thing that we did this Mother's Day, so I guess that feels like forever ago. That was about 5 months ago at this point. But on Mother's Day, that was really when stuff with the pandemic was pretty raw and new. And so we weren't seeing any family, not grandparents, nobody. And so I was like, what are we going to do today? Like, I actually have a day with my kids on Mother's Day, and I decided, let's put everybody's name in a hat, and then we're going to pick out one person's name, and they get to choose anything that in the whole family is going to do it. So we had some parameters. It can't be a screen because, it was Mother's Day. So I got to choose some parameters. It can't be a screen, and we all have to do it with happy faces. And that was for me too, because like my son, when his name got picked, he chose a Nerf gun war. And like, that's really more of like things that my husband does. Like he plays hide and seek with the kids and is more active with them, where I'm like, let's do a craft. Like, not to stereotype, but I'm very much so crafty. I don't necessarily love running around with Nerf guns and having a Nerf gun fight, but, it was such a cool experience. It took up like 3 hours of our day. Everybody was super creative in what they chose. I couldn't wait to pull the next name out of the hat to see who got to decide. And, 5 months later, they're still talking about it. When do we get to do that again? When can we do that again? So it was such a cool experience for our family.
No, that's awesome. I love that idea. Something for sure we're all going to be sitting around with a lot of time on our hands over the holidays. So I think that's an excellent idea to help get everybody involved, which I think is key.
Yeah. So a couple other things that we've done in our family. I don't know if you've seen these. I brought one. They have these new puzzles. And of course, we're huge Disney fans, so I'm going to show this one. But if you see, there's 3 different size puzzles. So it's great for all family members, depending on the age. And I love puzzles. This is, again, my crafty, like, whatever self. So it was just really fun. We started a fire and we did one of these puzzles together. So that's a really cool thing that you could do with your family. Something else that my husband and I were also talking about was just, I don't know about how, I know you have kids as well. I don't know how you feel, but the word no comes out of my mouth probably more than yes. And sometimes I have to ask myself, why am I saying no? And would it really be that bad to say yes? So something as simple as my kids love building forts. And I like a clean house. So that is hard for me to be like, yeah, let's build a fort and keep it up for a week. Like, no, let's find you can build a fort. I remember doing that as a kid. So I'm trying to give you your space to do that. But why always say no? Instead, just say yes and have a day where you think through, I'm just going to say yes today. And maybe it's build a fort, and you can do a competition on who, the boys build a fort and the girls build a fort, and then have a sleepover in the fort. Like, we're not going to go outside and camp right now. It's cold, but could we have a sleepover in our forts? Like, that would just be a fun thing. Like, be a kid, give yourself permission as a parent to be a kid.
Well, I like the idea, even just the whole yes thing, between us and our kids. Like, who can say yes the most today? If I ask them to take out the dog, I really want to hear yes. And if they ask me to get them a glass of water, when I think you can get up and get a glass of water, just making that in and of itself a fun little activity for the day of how many times we can get each other to say yes. So yeah, I really like that. Portion in and of itself, like, I fear the forts too, but I love it as a kid. It's a wonderful memory, and we have to get away from not wanting another mess to clean up, which right now I feel like we're constantly cleaning up messes because our kids are around us a lot more, and we're exhausted sometimes just from being in our own houses and seeing the same faces over and over again. While I love them, wonderful. Yeah, I like it a lot.
One thing, though, that I've really come to appreciate about COVID, which is an oxymoron right there, but just this opportunity to reclaim the dinner table. We've had so many dinners together. We have dinner together every night as a family. And I know for so long, that's been hard for families to do, mine included. So to have dinner together every night has been such a blessing to our family. And we go around and everybody shares a high from your day, a low from your day, and where you saw God in your day. And where you saw God could be in the high and the low, but just getting them used to identifying, like, there's still blessings in our life right now. And there's still things that are hard, and that's okay to name them too. But in the picture of all of that, where do we see God in our day, in our purpose? So that's just being intentional about the time that we have with them. And dinner table is
really fast. And I think that's something, mine are 10 and 14, and it's still mind blowing to me because, where I reconnected with, you initially was when our kids were in preschool, and it seems like yesterday, but my family too, also, we were really good for a little while. My kids went to a camp, and they every day at dinner had to do the high, low, and where they saw God, whether or not what your faith is. It's still for everybody to acknowledge and for them to be able to reflect on it every single day, because sometimes you just feel like the day has gotten you down. So I love that idea as well. These are wonderful, wonderful suggestions.
Yeah. Some people call them happies and crappies. So it just depends on the ages of your kids and what language you want to use. But I always found that one to be fun.
I guess, be creative. I will look forward to hearing what other people have to say and how they incorporate what you're saying into their families and their day. And hopefully they can share with us some tips as well, because I think these are really, really good ideas. I don't know if there's anything else that you wanted to share, or if this is good and if you wanted to share. I think, Bethany, you're going to provide us some more tips that we can put out on our website and our social for us to have and follow, and we'll look for everybody else to do the same back to us. So thank you again for your time today. This has been so extremely helpful for me, and I appreciate your family allowing you to sneak away from them to be a part of our wonderful series. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on here. And I can't wait to learn from each other too, and read some of those comments and hear what other people have to say, because I just think that we make each other better. So it'll be great to learn from one another.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, remember to follow us on Instagram at Johanneson Home.